Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing some historic best of one and continuing on the Collected Company series. And today's tribal deck of choice for Cocoing is actually going to be probably the main one. We're going to be playing Coco Elves. So, for those who don't know, Collected Company, a 4-mana instant, looks at the top 6 cards of your library and then puts 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and then the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So the way that this card works is it's usually built around tribal synergies a lot of the time, or creature-based decks at the very least. I like to do them in tribal style. So we've done Collected Company Zombies, we've done Collected Company Cats, I think we've done Collected Company Elves in the past as well, but Kaldheim has actually given us several new additions to this deck, and it just looks drastically different, so gonna give it a shot today. You can also do a little bit of a green-black variant, I think, with Elves as well, because there's a lot of black elf payoff cards in Kaldheim as well, but they're mostly, I guess, I don't know, they seem a little bit like you are losing, and that's why they're good kind of cards, like Scamfell Avenger. I can't actually remember its name. Is it not Avenger? It is Avenger. Skemfar Avenger, that's the one. Whenever a non-token elf dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So it's basically board wipe protection. But in the version we're playing, we kind of care about board wipes, but at the same time, we tend to win before the board wipes actually occur. And it's easy to play around them as well. Especially with things like Collected Company. So this gives those creature-based decks a chance against control lists, basically meaning that you can do this on your opponent's end step, they're forced to react to it. Maybe like post-board wipe, for example. You get 2 very powerful creatures like Elf Lords, and then you can swing for lethal. That's at least the idea. So Elves has got a lot of options in Historic at the moment, and we're going to go through them as well. We also have this little bit of a package here as well with 2 Finale of Devastation and Craterhoof Behemoth. This is the old way, I guess, of Elves winning. Not sure if it's entirely necessary. It's probably not. You could probably cut these 3 and then add like a Dwynen's Elite and some Visionaries or some Perfects or something like that. But, you know, I just really like X10ing a Finale of Devastation for my Craterhoof. So Craterhoof, when it enters, gives you +X/+X to all your creatures and Trample, where X is the number of creatures you control, so it really benefits go-wide strategies, which is exactly what Elves likes to do. And then Finale of Devastation allows you to search your library or graveyard for a creature card with CMC X or less. However, if X is 10 or more, then you get to pick a 10 or less creature and also give them +10/+10 or plus whatever, +X/+X and haste as well. So it's really disgustingly powerful, and the blowout is wonderful. So if we can get to some big mana, basically if we get to 12 mana with the Finale of Devastation, we can win with a Craterhoof Behemoth X10. Otherwise, we only have to do it X8, so 10 mana total. You might be asking yourself, how are you going to do that? With 20 lands. Well, we have Elvish Archdruid, one of the Jumpstart Lords, an absolute beast, a powerhouse, and one that carries several synergies in this deck outside of the Finale of Devastation. It's a 3-mana Lord, so it gives other elves +1/+1, but it also adds 1 green for each elf you control as well. So the more elves we put into play, the more mana we can generate. It also means that our 1-drops, when Archdruid's out and not summoning sick, these essentially become free. Our Dwynen's Elite, which make a 2-mana 2/2 and a 1/1. This becomes free. Elvish Visionary is a 1-mana cantrip. It's kind of a bit slow, so that's why I'm only running 1 copy. War Master is like Dwynen's Elite, but it kind of triggers off of every elf entering the battlefield. It also has an alternative thing as well, to give us an Anthem. For 7 mana, elves you control get +2/+2 and Death Touch until the end of the turn, which means even profit blocks for our opponent end up becoming bad blocks, which is quite nice. It's basically the side option for how we win. Primarily, we're going to be doing Allosaurus Shepherd, a 1-mana 1/1. Can't be countered. Our green spells can't be countered. And then for 6 mana as well, each elf you control has base power and toughness 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other types. Basically, the 5/5 is the relevant bit here. It's for the most part kind of like a +4/+4 Anthem. Making your things 5/5 plus any Lord effects that are in play as well. So with an Archdruid out there, which is probably likely to be the case, this 1-mana creature is actually a 6/6, and any other Lords after that is just, you know, icing on the cake. I said icing on the cape there, and I meant it. I'm going with it. Other lords do include Elvish Clan Collar, a 2-mana 1/1. Other elves you control get +1/+1, and for 6 mana you get to search out another Elvish Clan Collar and put it onto the battlefield. So any excess mana you can spend it on lord affecting up your creatures to allow you to go very big with your go wide strategy. We also have 2 copies of Imperious Perfect, one of the worst of the lords, but it's still not bad at all. 3 mana 2/2. Other elves get +1/+1, and you can also pay 1 green to make an elf and tap it every single turn. So it basically kind of replaces itself as you're growing up a board. So you turn this 2/2 sideways and you make yourself a 2/2, or even bigger than that if you've got other lords. Yeah, that's essentially a deck. I guess I should mention Despairous Sentinel as well, another Kaldheim card. We haven't really mentioned the Kaldheim cards, fully enough. We've only mentioned the War Master. Despairous Sentinel is kind of like a Llanowar Elves. So this deck is basically in the early game built around big mana. So you want to get your turn 1 Llanowar Elves down, and Despairous Sentinel is the new Llanowar Elves for Historic at the moment. You could call it the Elvish Mystic, I guess. Is that the one I'm thinking of? It's basically the functional reprint. Maybe, I don't know. Either way, 1 mana 1/2 with Reach. It says tap an untapped creature you control, and then add 1 mana of any colour. So as long as you've got another creature in play, it acts as though it was a Llanowar Elves, but it will tap something down. So it's worse than Llanowar Elves. But it is still a 1 mana 1/1 mana dork at the end of the day, so it allows you to cheat out lots of things and get some stuff done. Realm Walker is the other Kaldheim card. Again, it allows us to build from an empty hand, so very good against control decks that really don't like us having card advantage. 3 mana 2/3, it's a changeling, but when it enters the battlefield you choose a creature type, and well, it's already an elf, but you choose elf, and then you get to look at the top card of your library at any time and then cast elves from the top of your library, as long as you've got the mana to cast them, of course. And that is essentially the deck. If you do enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get to the gameplay. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in, and I would call this hand pretty good. It's going to suffer a little bit from a board wipe, so if we could draw like a Coco along the way, then maybe that'd be nice. But other than that, it's turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and then maybe turn 4 Realm Walker. See what sats on top. Obviously got some draws in between all of that. So now my elves are uncounterable. God, this thing just had to have 17 different things written on it, didn't it? Alright. Temple of Silence for our opponent. It's not a Yorion list, so I'm honestly not sure what this could be. Maybe an Esper control, maybe. Still going to be Orzhov into Daxos. Alright. So I guess it's safe to say life gain list then. Let's go with the Elvish Archdruid. That allows me to swing through the Daxos and also gives me a lot of mana for next turn. So we got 4 mana with the Forest, and then 5, 6, 7 with the Archdruid. It's probably 8 with the Archdruid actually, because the Realm Walker comes down. Off of my green sources. So we're kind of getting there. It's Black-White Pride, mates. Safe to say, you don't see this one very often, but I imagine they're not going to be swinging through. Nope. Okay. So what I want to do, I think, is probably just try and pop off and get as many things in play as possible. So let's name Elf with the Realm Walker. Interesting. Let's go with Despairous Sentinel, which is going to pump up the Archdruid a little bit more. I mean, there's 5 there. That's cool. That means we can do Imperious Perfect. And let's do Elvish Visionary as well. I doubt they're a board wipe deck, so let's just go for it. Alright. And then we'll get in with the Allosaurus Shepherd here, because if we trade off with the Najani's Pridemate, that's all cool. Maybe they think to themselves, it's probably worth trading with that, because that's the thing that's going to absolutely murder me. And in actual fact, it's this one that's going to absolutely murder you. Time will tell, eh? So yeah, we get a little bit of a double block here. I start to question whether or not I care about the Pridemate or the Daxos more, and honestly, I don't think I care about either, and I'm debating whether or not I should have even swung in the first place. So let's go after the Daxos instead, because this one will give you a life gain trigger with another creature dies as well. And it'll enable other life gain triggers like Heliod and whatnot. So there's a Soul Warden. They should just be dead here, I think. With the amount of force blocks involved. So we go with our other Allosaurus Shepherd. They gain 1 life. And then... yeah, I guess we just activate here. And send it. Good game. Even if that didn't kill them, which I'm pretty sure it does, it's force blocks all around and clears up their board and they die to the next swing. So, yeah. Pretty good. That was about as, I guess, nutty as this hand can get. But you can kind of see why not accounts, but a board wipe would be kind of brutal. That's where the collected companies come into play, but didn't need them, didn't draw them. So, chef's kiss. Next game. You go first. We have the Crater Hoof we don't really want to be drawing, and a 1-lander. It is a 1-lander with a Jeskai Sentinel, but that doesn't really help us play anything. If it was maybe like Llanowar Elves, I might reconsider, but I think this is just an easy mull down to 6. And this is so much better. So we got turn 1, Llanowar Elves, turn 2, probably play on curve with a Clan Caller, Shepherd, and then, yeah, the collected company's ready to go. So let's get rid of one of the Shepherds and see what we're up against. Got ourselves a no-sleeve Steven over here. Trying to hide that knowledge of what your deck might be. You may notice I've gone with J sleeves to throw people off the scent. If I put J sleeves on, they think I'm playing control, and therefore my aggro deck absolute beats them when they take a dirtly hand with hand disruption. That's at least the the theory I was going for. Whether or not that ends up being the case is to be determined. Temple of Abandon. This is Tibalt's Trickery. Okay. It's one way to throw us off the scent. No sleeves at all. Yeah, the reason why you know it's Tibalt's Trickery is because they're hanging on a tap land here, which basically means that they have a 0-drop in hand already. I'm basically going to lose if they have untapped land combo here, so I might as well just, like, you know, place everything on board and just see what happens, really. I can't actually interact with it. Tormod's Crypt and Tibalt's Trickery. They hit. Emergent Ultimatum. Okay, so it's probably Bolus's Citadel. What else are you going to do? I wonder if they do like the Play and Wide Celebration version. The version I used to play. Omniscience, Planar Bridge, and Turn Timber Symbiosis. Alright, so when I play Trickery, the worst thing you could do is give me Omniscience. So it looks like I'm giving them the Planar Bridge and then a random creature off the top. Which is probably going to kill me as well. I could probably beat a Seeker. It's dependent on what these 3 cards are. If any of them are anything that could be cast, then it's a problem. So I'm just going to have to say no Omniscience and try and beat whatever they hit here. Maybe they whiff on the Symbiosis and Planar Bridge is nice and slow. We do untap with a collected company as well, so there's something to be said about that. Yep, there we go. So bridge comes down, does nothing. It's a shame I don't run Reclamation Sage, otherwise I could punish that probably with this collected company. But this is likely to get like a... well, it's a Coma. I was going to say an Ulamog, but I think a Coma is honestly preferable. I just don't know if we can beat it. Typically, playing things out into a Trickery deck is kind of pointless, and now it is officially pointless, so let's go to the next game. Alright, opponent goes first. We have a keepable hand, so it's turn 1 Llanowar Elves, turn 2 Warmaster Sentinel, probably. See where we go from there. Pretty cool card. It's a shame it had to be a rare. Looks like we're up against maybe a blue-white control list with Irrigated Farmland. That's basically the only deck that makes sense to me. So we have to worry about Wrath of Gods, essentially. Realm Walker and Collected Company are going to be our cards for this matchup for sure. So let's go with Warmaster first, and then play Sentinel to make more creatures. This way we can go Clan Caller, and then basically call it a day on playing cards into our opponent's next board wipe. Because I think that's pressure enough for them to fire it off. And then all I have to do at that point is try to make my land drops so that I can end-step Collected Company them. Post-board wipe, rebuild, and then keep swinging for that extra pressure. Oh, it's the Jeskai field list. Interesting. So, yeah, it's still the case if they do have a board wipe, then that's going to be pretty grim. I'm trying to think about this list and whether or not it does have the board wipes I'm thinking of. I think it's mostly like Storm's Wrath kind of things, right? I don't know. Either way, I think it's worth going for a Clan Caller and trying to get the beatdown as quick as possible going. But I'll commit no further into this board until they make me. Missing a land drop kind of really sucks, but we are a 20 land deck, so not too much of a surprise there. They just bolted themselves. It's very interesting. What do we reckon? Settle the Wreckage. 2, 4, 6. Let's send that. If they Coco me, if they settle me, I'll Coco them. Otherwise, this was just a weird bluff. Maybe you go in for one extra. No, they do have the settle the Wreckage, so I get lots of mana, and I get to keep the important cards in play. Yeah, I might not have played around Settle the Wreckage if they didn't lightning bolt themselves in the face for that one. I think because Settle was their option, maybe I actually just go main phase Collected Company. Play around the counterspell that they probably have. Let's also go Realm Walker on Elf. Gives me an idea of what we're going to draw. Another Collected Company. That's perfect. So if we do get punished for the main phase Coco, we have another one anyway. We even have Imperious Perfect into Coco. And it's got Timely Reinforcements. Okay. So we know one of the 6 cards is a land. At this point, I think we're going very aggressive with our attacks here. So let's go Imperious Perfect. Send it, get a triple block, no doubt. Apparently opponent really suffers with aggro decks. Put it on top of my library. Okay. I can cast it from there. Maybe go for a Clan Caller double block, is that their plan? Nope, just single blocks. Fair enough. Alright, well, replay it. Back to business. This is a spicy list. So it's based off of a list that I do know, but the cards that they're using are cards that I never used. Mystic Sanctuary, not one of them. In fact, it seems like a horrible card, to be honest. But maybe that's just me. Alright, so we're still playing around Settler Wreckage here. I think we'll do that, because I can search up another Clan Caller for another +2/+2. This is 9. I mean, maybe I am supposed to attempt to kill them here. Let's go like an Imperious Perfect, and then try and Coco for a Lord if they don't settle me. Oh. I was expecting another click through. Okay, well, we know they don't have settle at least, so there's that. Yeah, I was expecting the confirm attacks, pass to them, and then go to like the blocking phase, but as soon as I clicked blockers, it was all over. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to thin my deck of anything really at this point, because they should just be dead to this double attack here. Playing around settle again. Torrential Gear Hulk for Settler Wreckage. Seems good. Yeah, this is kind of the reason why they're playing Lotus Field, is to get the Torrential Gear Hulks as a viable card. Means that they can do Settler Wreckages and whatnot. So let's float mana here, because we're about to... Actually, let's do that because it's free. Float mana. Get another Clan Caller. Get 2 more basics. Change up that top card, which is going to be... Well, we don't know. Doesn't really matter though, does it? Because our opponent's still probably dead. They're really struggling here to find their answers, and those wonderful Mystic Sanctuaries totally helping them out here. There's an Allosaurus Shepherd, so we're gonna go you, and you. So we're playing around a block plus removal. And yeah. Okay. So we did miss lethal, but it was mostly a UI thing for me, I would say. If we were playing it in paper, wouldn't really exist. But still. Yeah, our opponent's playing a bad version of a sweet deck, I would say. Mystic Sanctuary is... I kind of want to just say unplayable, and I feel like the fact that all of these were tap lands and they only actually have one island in play that's not called Mystic Sanctuary is a pretty good example of why you shouldn't be running this card. They did have an undo inversion as well, so, you know, I wonder how far they were off of doing that. 6, 7, 8, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a top-decked undo inversion would have done something. But yeah, the whole idea is essentially, from my perspective, I guess maybe theirs is strictly blue-white. Usually you play like Blood Sun, which is a 3-mana enchantment that basically means all lands lose all abilities, which means that Lotus Field loses its sacrifice ability, and then this becomes a 3-mana ramp spell as a land drop. So it allows you to play like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and then when you tick up with him, instead of untapping 2 lands, you're basically untapping 4 with a Lotus Field. So it becomes really disgustingly powerful. Also allows you to jump straight into Torrential Gear Hulks plus whatever you've been using up until that point as well, which can be very useful. This... Yeah, this can also be hit with Torrential Gear Hulk. You can target the Warrant, I think, and then do Warden instead. But I guess you'd have to have a target for Warrant first in order to play that, in order to even use it. I'm not entirely sure, actually. Either way, though, yeah, next game. You go first. Fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, so it's turn 1 Shepherd, turn 2... Is it War Master? The Dwynen's Elite and the War Master are kind of at odds with each other right now. It's hard to say which one you should play first. I mean, this will make 3 power immediately. This will make lots of power in the long run and trigger off the other Dwynen's Elite. Really trying to just enable the most amount of mana with Elvish Archdruid as well, though, so let's see if we can do that. Llanowar Elves. Do you get a land drop? That's kind of nice. So if we want to be, like, really aggressive, it's definitely Dwynen's Elite. I think it probably is, honestly. So we go Dwynen's Elite, we make 3 bodies on board. Do we want to trade Shepherd with Llanowar Elves? It's hard to say, really. Like, if it's Skrull, then maybe, but if it's the Elf Mirror, who knows? So if we'd have gone War Master last turn, we wouldn't have had this ready to attack, but it looks like we weren't going to be attacking with it anyway, so maybe War Master, in hindsight, was just better. But next turn we can do War Master plus any one of these, and it'll trigger him as well. Let's get in with our 3/3. I think because we've got the Archdruid and our opponent doesn't, we are going to be ahead here. Marwyn the Nurturer is very dirtly. Alright, so what we want to do here is swing in with you, and you, planning on activating the Allosaurus Shepherd. If we absolutely must. Our opponent's making us must. So let's just do that. Pump to 5, and then we've got some force blocks ahead of us in the future here. Let's go with the War Master. That gives us a backup activation plan should they have some weird way of getting rid of Allosaurus Shepherd. We can do the 2/2 and Death Touch instead. It's got an Imperious Perfect. Now just imagine if Marwyn the Nurturer was an Archdruid instead. They'd have had a Lord effect and some extra power and toughness. That's pretty good. Great Henge is some interesting tech. Alright, so I can do this because it's free off the War Master. I guess I could also maybe do Realm Walker as well. Doesn't really change too much though, does it? Because I can't really flash in if Realm Walker reveals anything. I guess if there's a 1-drop on top, maybe. Because it's how much? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we could do Realm Walker, and Archdruid's paying for Shepherd regardless, so it's everything but Archdruid here. Opponent's forced to block all but 1. Which is all they could do anyway. And yep. They go to 1. And they need to do something here that wins them the game, and I don't think Crater Hoof is it. Because we have quite a lot of toughness on board and we're still at 20. No. I guess maybe if they were doing Finale of Devastation, would that work? Trying to think, how much have they got here? They floated 2, plus a 4, that's 6, 7. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're one short of an X10 Finale, which would have given Crater Hoof plus 10, plus 10. So I think even that would have tapped down too much for them to threaten lethal on anything. So yeah, I think because we had the early Archdruid for like super duper Lord effect and ramp, which is half of what Marwyn ends up doing, we ended up getting the game there. Also, Allosaurus Shepherd just carries every single game. I used to run a couple of these cards because I thought, oh, it's good, but you won't want them every time. You actually do. You want them anytime you can get them, really, because that 6-mana activation is just absolutely brutal at winning the game. And War Master's nice. It's an alternative way of doing it, but it's certainly no base power and toughness 5/5, so yeah. Anyway, next game. on the play, and I feel like this is a very familiar looking hand. I'm pretty sure the last time we saw Crater Hoof in our opener, we also had 1-drops, but I think we had a Jeskai Sentinel in Dwynen's Elite's play, so that's kind of the only difference. It wasn't keepable before, and it ain't keepable now. This hand is much better. Alright, so let's figure this out. We're going to go with turn 1 Llanowar Elves, because it allows us to make a 2-mana and a 1-mana play, which means we're not going to get rid of Shepherd, and we're not going to get rid of one of these. We're obviously going to keep Archdruid as well. So it's between the Elite and the Clan Caller on this hand. I kind of like the Elite because we're going to go with Archdruid the following turn. But Clan Caller is also quite nice. And doesn't require me to have the 3rd land, but we do have Llanowar Elves, so I think it's Clan Caller for the bottom here. And then just hope that our Llanowar Elves doesn't get bolted. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would make this hand significantly worse. Without a doubt. Castle Embereth. Alright, well we did get a land, which means Archdruid is ready to go. Do we want to play Archdruid as well? Or do we want to kick into effect all of these wonderful cards? Like, if they are... Well, I don't know why they're going turn 1 Embereth tapped, so it feels like a bit of a weird mono red if it was. But if they were going to remove anything, I feel like I would much rather them kill Shepherd than the Archdruid. And Archdruid on turn 3 sets up a better surprise swing, I guess. So if they go like untap land, stomp Shepherd, then it's not the end of the world. So we're still attacking in for quite a fair bit. It's Goblins. Alright, we've definitely got a good Goblin hand. Because you want to kill them as quickly as possible. They're not going to be running removal either, so this is just going to get exceptionally aggressive. And this could be one of those we win because we're on the play kind of deals. For sure. But now we're looking at turning all of our elves into base power 5/5, so they're all swinging for 6 each, and yeah. It's basically the most easily won matchup of all time. If you flip it the other way around and your opponent's on the play as Goblins, then maybe there's a different matchup to be had here. Although Shepherd, I think, is the mirror breaker for sure. They definitely took a very strange hand. Like, Embereth tap not doing anything meant that they couldn't do turn 1 Prospector, which meant very bad turn 2 play. And then they just had a Phyrexian Tower here. It's definitely, from my perspective, their hand wasn't keepable and they should have mulled, and they lost. At least partially due to that. But yeah, I don't think Goblins is beating the hand that we had anyway. So either way, keeping on going. We're actually doing really well with this deck, I've got to say. I think we've only dropped a game so far, and it's been to Tibalt's Trickery, a deck that requires absolutely no skill whatsoever to lose to or to win to. So, you know, it's hardly even one of those things I should even include in the win-loss record, because it's not really a game. But yeah, let's go to the next one. Alright, opponent goes first. It's not the most exciting hand, to be completely honest, but it does have, like, some exciting cards all the same. Yeah, I think we keep it. So we go turn 1 Jeskai Sentinel. Soul Warden. So it's either the Primates or it's Angels. So we go turn 1 Jeskai Sentinel. And then we play War Master on turn 2, tap War Master, play Shepherd, trigger War Master. I think that's the plan. We need like a Lord Effect or a Mana Accelerant. It is going to be Green-White Angels. I don't know how we fare in this matchup, to be honest, but time will tell, I suppose. Going to give our opponent a little bit of life along the way. Let's go with another Jeskai Sentinel, I suppose, if we do need mana. It's one way to get it. So, lots of life for our opponent. Good thing is, they don't currently have a way of exploiting it. They need to be at 27 with a Righteous Valkyrie. So now we lose. It's as simple as that, I'm pretty sure. That's just so much better than what we can do as an Elves deck. I mean, I'll give it a shot, but... Okay, I mean, perfect Clan Caller. It's sort of up there with reasonable lines of play. I'll give it that. Let's play a Shepherd. But how do we actually win? Because I think we've only got... I guess if we got another land, we can maybe take our opponent below 27. It's probably not likely to happen, is it? Both drawing the land and doing what I needed to do. So you're at 4, 5, 6, 7. Dead to another Righteous Valkyrie. Actually, no, because I got the Sentinels. Let's do Realm Walker on Elf. See what our top card is. Archdruid. There's a card I desperately need right now. And we can do one Imperious Perfect here. Let's tap the important stuff. We're not going to be doing Clan Caller. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Actually, it seems like it's actually mono white angels, weirdly enough. Perhaps doing the Jaspera Sentinel is a bit greedy of me. Since I could double block one of them, and then maybe that would put them off doing that attack. It's entirely possible that's the case. Oh dear. So there's Archdruid. Triggers War Master. So next time we can do a very large Allosaurus Shepherd. We have to block with 2 Jaspera Sentinels here, though. We have no excess mana. So now we pass the turn, and then it's just a Hail Mary at our opponent. I'm pretty sure we don't have the firepower here to win, though. Yeah, I shouldn't have done the Sentinel for one single token. It's just not really worth it in hindsight. Because now I can't double block Valkyrie, which is really the important thing here. And they wouldn't have attacked before, I think, so I'd have been on 10 life. They didn't attack me. Interesting. Very interesting. Maybe they're thinking that I'm going to Crater Hoof them, which is obviously not the case. Alright, so... Clan Caller is a free activation, so is Imperious Perfect, but both of those take creatures off the board that I could use to attack my opponent with. It's probably still worth doing. Dwynen's Elite is also free. In fact, pretty much my entire hand is free. So the key here is not using Jaspera Sentinel. So, one trigger on War Master here. Let's go with the Dwynen's Elite. Lots of creatures. And then we are tapping for 19. Which means one Clan Caller. Yep. A Jaspera Sentinel here. Another Archdruid. Alright. I just need 6 mana left when I'm done. Ooh, there's Finale of Devastation. Alright, so if our opponent doesn't win next turn, which it's looking like they don't, then I win. Because I've just got so much mana that I can't really lose. It's not really even worth, I think, attacking in here. Then again, I mean, I've got 3 Reachy boys, so, like, I guess it is worth attacking in. Let's do Allosaurus Shepherd. It's like I'm not really losing anything off of... I'm going to keep 3 Reach creatures because I'm a little bit nervous. Like, I'm attacking for 70 with my tokens alone here. And you. I guess you as well. So they've got... They have to block some of this. But they've got little tokens for it. I'm just... I really can't be arsed doing the math on this. As to whether or not I've got lethal. So they block 1 here, they're taking 60, 50. They have to block 2 here, that means they have to block 3, 4, 5. They don't have to block enough, I think, to stay in the game. So let's just deal a lot here instead. Got plenty of ground blockers back, and I got plenty of reach blockers to stop the Valkyrie and the Youthful Valkyrie from being relevant. Playing around a single removal spell as well with 3 reach creatures for their 2 flying attackers. Oh wow, they're actually going in. This game was so not winnable. I think it's all because they didn't force my Jespera Sentinel block earlier and punish that really poor play from me. Yeah, they get 2 spirits, but I've got 3 blockers again. I guess a Ajani would be really bad. Ajani's 0. Yeah, they punted this game into a loss, I think. But you know what? We turned our punt into a glorious victory, and I'll take that. So this one should have been lost. So this should have been our first game where we weren't going to win. But again, if I played the game right, I don't know if our opponent wins it, because I think we could eventually navigate into this board state just by, you know, not tapping our Sentinel for a single 3/3 or whatever it was at that time, which was very wasteful and not a good idea. Yeah. This Mono White Angels. It's not the best version. The Coco version, I would say, is better. And then there's even the Bant version as well, which gives you... What's her face, who gives you indestructible for board wipe protection. Certainly a good idea in best of 1 for sure. But yeah. Pretty sweet. We're still winning, and I don't understand how, but here we are. Alright, we're finally in. And this hand is totally keepable. It doesn't really have any longevity in the form of like Collected Company, or anything that goes wide like War Master or Dwynen's Elite, but the Double Lord and the guaranteed Llanowar Elves. Alright, now we've got Allosaurus Shepherd. This hand is suddenly disgusting. Opponent Llanowar Elves Snow-Covered Forest. I think the Snow-Covered Forest is irrelevant. It's probably a bluff that they've got like Blizzard Brawls and whatnot, if I had to guess. Yeah, it is just going to be the mirror. And I'm pretty sure in the mirror we just copy exactly what our opponent is doing as best we can, and then see whether or not we can absolutely pop off here, because I think we've got the better hand overall, especially knowing that we've got the Shepherd. I think they're holding up Collected Company here, so instead of jumping into the Collected Company, I would like to go wide on my opponent here. And then we can do Archdruid. Thank you. And Clan Caller. Our opponent can pick 2 of their cards from the top 6, and then we'll swing and try to murder our opponent. Well, they did get an Allosaurus Shepherd and a Dwynen's Elite. That's not bad. It's honestly not bad. If they can force me into a bad block here, then maybe there's some hope. But I think I'm getting the first attack, so we'll have to see on that one. Imperious, perfect. So I can load it up. Trying to think how best I can destroy my opponent here. Obviously, attacking him with 4 of the creatures is ideal. It forces them to block with something, but the counter attack is a little bit spooky from that point forward. Perhaps we do like Realm Walker first, see if there's any elves on top. Try and go wide that way. There is a Dwynen's Elite. So let's just keep going until we can go no further. 10 mana. Yeah, I think we're in a solid spot, to be honest, chat. Draw that land. I don't think we've made our land drop yet. Nope. So let's keep on going. Jesus Christ. We still got another Archdruid ready to go as well, so we're building up a nice blocking force here. And then let's do a bit of that. Let's get an Imperious Perfect. Let's get another Clan Caller, see if we can shake up the top of our deck, get our final Clan Caller. It is still a land on top, so let's do that. We actually aren't left with anything to attack with, though, are we? Just the one Allosaurus Shepherd. I kind of want to keep that around, to be honest. Alright. No, we'll pass at that. So we've got all 4 of our Clan Callers. We've got 2 of our 4 Archdruids. We've got 1 of our 2 Imperious Perfects, I think. Yeah. Almost all of our Lords in play here. Even if they manage to activate Shepherd here, I've still got some pretty good blocks. So my attack is just pretty much set in stone. I'm going to tap an Archdruid, make 1,000,000 mana. I'll play out my forest and stuff like that as well, see what's on top. You never know. With the excess mana off the Archdruid, which we're going to have to tap one anyway to play the Allosaurus Shepherd's activation, we might find ourselves in a position... Oh my god, it's a Crater Hoof. Are we actually still going to lose? Yeah, I feel like we might. Okay, so... block that. Block that. Block that. Block that. And then what we're taking... Everything's... Oh, we're taking 28, so we still need to keep going. Let's go with you plus... Actually, that wouldn't work. You and you. Block that, and then take 14. Should be left with enough of a backswing here that we're okay. Try to not use Lords as much as possible, but I don't know if the -2/-2 is actually going to kill more than I think it will. Either way, our opponent's got no blockers, so everything that was left behind should be enough to kill anyway. And as long as the UI hasn't kind of screwed me, which it hasn't, then we're all good. There's a land on top. So we swing with everything but an Archdruid. Activate. Say good game. And that's all she wrote. Good night, Elf Mirror. Beautiful. -49. Oh, good lord. Part of me wonders whether or not I should have swung in before that Crater Hoof. Maybe it was the case, but, you know, my mind didn't care to do the math on that one. And as much as, you know, the going rule is math is for blockers, I couldn't help but just have this feeling in the back of my head that they didn't have to block enough. And in which case, if they didn't have to block enough, they'd be able to keep enough, and then I wouldn't have the blockers to stop this Crater Hoof. So maybe I did the right thing by not blocking. I don't know. There's some math involved that tells you whether that's right or wrong. I'm not going to be the one to do it, and clearly it paid off because I win. But yeah, that's essentially going to be today's video. Yeah, we actually didn't drop a game except for Tibalt's Trickery. We saw it twice actually today. I don't know if I'll include the other one because it was like 60 seconds, so, you know, it's probably not even worth showing either of them, to be honest, but I'll show one. I won't show the other, I guess. And yeah, so I think, I can't even remember what we went. Something and 2 in total. And 2 of the wins as well, we made some punts, which could have lost us the game, and we didn't. So, yeah. I'd say this deck is pretty good. Yeah, we went 6 and 2 today. Must have done, because I don't think I've played today, so... yeah. Anyway, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, then I would really appreciate it if you do hit that like button, as well as subscribing if you haven't yet done so already. Leave a comment down below what your favorite Coco deck is as well. I do like going through all the Coco shenanigans, so if you've got a cool Coco deck, you let me know down below. Other than that, though, I'm going to leave it off here. Take care, and have a wonderful night.